Julio Rodriguez is confusing. To some, he's a superstar and one of the greatest talents of his generation.
Anything that any great player can do in the game, he can do it.
Right now, he's on pace for the Hall of Fame. I don't think enough people take that into account.
But to others, he's overrated and unworthy of the spotlight.
He created a level of expectation in me. He's going to be this mega offensive star, and I've been underwhelmed every year. I'm disappointed.
So, why is one of baseball's brightest young talents so controversial? Well, to answer that question, we first need to understand where these expectations came from.
He got paid an enormous amount of money, and now it's up to him to be the lead guy on this team and to deliver.
Signed as a 16-year-old international prospect out of the Dominican Republic in 2017, Rodriguez has been a Mariners' top 5 prospect in every year since.
Ever since he made it to the US, Rodriguez began drawing attention as one of the best players in the country for his age. But this year, he was taking it to another level.
Got the speed, the power, the ability to hit for average, plays great defense. He is going places right now.
In 2021, he put up insane numbers in the minor leagues, posting a .347 average with 13 home runs and 21 stolen bases. Julio had the makeup of a generational 5-tool talent, and with those numbers, the 20-year-old was on the verge of reaching baseball's biggest stage.
Julio Rodriguez has crushed it in the minors. He won a bronze medal at the Olympics, and now he's hopeful to make the Mariners' opening day roster.
But his first taste of the majors wasn't the dominant entrance that everyone expected. In his first 21 at-bats, he struck out 12 times and only managed a single hit.
And he's gonna go down. I'm telling you right now, he's not ready. If you can't make adjustments this quick, you're going back down to learn. And yes, he was hot, a lot of hype, everything else. It's a great story, but this is domination. He's got no chance.
It's a tough league. It's the best league. You got to get him out of there if in fact he's starting to get beat down.
However, as discouraging as it seemed, this slump did not last very long.
His first month in the majors didn't quite go as planned, hitting just .205 in April. But when the calendar flipped to May, Julio's star began to shine.
Julio blasts this out to center. This is driven back by the wall. Julio, grand slam! And Rodriguez makes a great catch. Oh my goodness.
In May, he hit 6 home runs with an average over 300. And after winning 2 consecutive Player of the Month honors, he was selected to the All-Star game in his very first season. But his list of accomplishments as a rookie didn't stop there.
First rookie ever to have 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases. You know, this guy is a special face of the franchise, already 21 years old. Name something a position player can do in baseball that's great. And I can say, well, he can do it just like they can.
The Mariners were sold, and before the season even ended, they extended his contract for up to 14 years and $470 million.
This is a fantastic moment in the history of our organization. You know, we needed to do something unique and hopefully ensure that Julio spends the rest of his career here in Seattle.
But as you can imagine, this deal led to some criticism, along with an extremely high level of expectations.
Well, this used to be the exception, and now it's become the rule. You used to give up some upside, and it used to be you had to have a track record. But now players are getting the last dollar, and there's no protecting the downside for management. Julio Rodriguez has played 108 games.
He got paid an enormous amount of money, and now it's up to him to be the lead guy on this team and to deliver.
However, despite this insane amount of pressure, Rodriguez would somehow manage to live up to expectations. In April, he became the fastest player in Mariners history to reach 30 career home runs. And after being honored with his second All-Star appearance, he would dominate the month of August with one of the greatest stretches in MLB history. In the span of just 4 games, he went 17 for 22, hitting 2 home runs and stealing 5 bases. But he still wasn't done quite yet. Rodriguez would go on to join the 30-30 club with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases on the season. And in the outfield, he was still one of the best in baseball. So, at just 22 years old, after only 2 years in the game, Rodriguez was a superstar, and the Seattle Mariners had finally found their franchise player. However, Julio was about to be tested, both on and off the field.
Yeah, it's been a very, very tough start for the year for Julio Rodriguez.
He's chasing, he's overswinging. I mean, he's swinging, it looks like, as hard as he can on every single swing, like he's trying to hit the ball to the moon.
Now, Julio had gotten off to rough starts before, but this was different. He was still playing great defense, but his average and OPS were dropping to levels that left fans concerned.
Look, the Mariners are set up to survive some different things, but I don't see how they could possibly survive Julio doing this for too long.
Rodriguez would miss the All-Star game for the first time in his career, and although it might be unfair to consider that a failure, he wasn't performing like the superstar he was made out to be. So heading into 2025, expectations were higher than ever, but many were doubtful that he could meet them.
Weird year last year. Not the kind of offensive output I think you expect out of a guy like J-Rod with that contract being the face of that team.
So when he once again got off to a slow start, the criticism would only get louder.
How is Julio Rodriguez hitting 206 after the year he had last year? Can you really consider him a star? What makes him a star?
It feels like he changed something. I don't know if it's mental, like an approach. It feels like something self-imposed that's limited so much potential.
His swing, like the actual mechanical nature of his swing, isn't good enough.
By the All-Star break, Rodriguez had an OPS of just 731, and while his defense was still incredible, fans were shocked when he was selected to the All-Star game despite his struggles at the plate.
I'm actually kind of pissed off now. The more I think about this, that Julio Rodriguez should not be anywhere near an All-Star game. Julio Rodriguez is closer to being sent to AAA to fix his swing than he is to being a legitimate Major League All-Star.
Unfortunately, it seemed like the pressure was finally starting to take its toll, with Julio saying this in an interview. It was easy back then. I was just focused on the game of baseball. But then opinions, people, different perceptions, that's where it started to get a little bit trickier for me.
What numbers are never going to tell you is the psychology of what it feels like to play with expectations for this whole team and for your superstar in particular.
It was clear that he needed a break, and ultimately, he decided to forfeit his spot on the All-Star team in hopes of getting back on track.
Mariners have announced Julio Rodriguez will not be able to participate this year in the All-Star game. He will take a break to recuperate, rest, and prepare for the second half.
Turns out that a mental break was exactly what he needed. With a fresh mindset, Rodriguez would dominate in the second half, posting a 900 OPS with 18 home runs in 65 games. And for the second time in his career, he would finish the year in the 30-30 club. This incredible turnaround would help the Mariners surge to 90 wins. And in the end, they were crowned as division champions for the first time since 2001. J-Rod had silenced the critics, and throughout the postseason, he would continue to show flashes of dominance. Facing the Blue Jays in the ALCS, he would put on a show, hitting 3 key home runs while driving in 6 runners. And after 6 back-and-forth games, Seattle was just 1 win away from advancing to the World Series. However, Game 7 would not go the way they had hoped. Despite 2 hits from Rodriguez, including a go-ahead home run in the 3rd inning, the Mariners season would sadly come to an end.
The Mariners have never been closer to the World Series. They still remain the only Major League Baseball team to never make an appearance.
But putting his team's performance aside, 2025 was a perfect example of why J-Rod is so controversial. At times, he shows flashes of greatness at the plate, acting as a catalyst for the entire lineup. But when he goes cold, he's an entirely different player, with numbers that make you question his status as a superstar.
In a season, he will have 2 to 3 cold months at a time in a row, which has people pent up frustrated.
However, despite his inconsistencies, his talent on both sides of the field is undeniable, and his value as a player is much higher than many fans realize. Not to mention, it's important to note that he's still just 24 years old, with plenty of time to reach his full potential. but even now, he's already on pace for a legendary career.
He now joins only 2 other players to have 110 homers and 110 steals through their age 24 season.
Right now, he's on pace for the Hall of Fame. I don't think enough people take that into account.
It just kind of flies under the radar because he will get so worked up over slow batches of the season. And you look at the end, it's pretty good.